Time now for results of tonight's telepoll. We asked, should students in public schools be required to wear uniforms? Let's check those final numbers. You can see a lot of them tonight. Yeah. Nearly 15,000 calls. Overwhelming majority say yes, they should. Thanks to all those who took the time to call us.
Oh, finally tonight, a factory that's all that it's quacked up to be. This is the largest decoy duck factory in the world. The Virginia factory cranks out every variety of mallard, pintail, and wood duck imaginable. The decoys are carved using assembly line techniques that allows hundreds of ducks to be carved at the same time. Workers at the plant say the only thing that makes them go truly daffy is a dull carving blade.
Call me crazy. I don't think those are real ducks.
No, they're not.
Nothing gets past you, Steve.
Get it pretty early in the morning.
That's right. Let's check our forecast for early in the morning. Partly cloudy and 26, and the clouds will thicken up during the day. We'll have some snow flurries late. Better chance for snow Wednesday.
Okay, great Nightline coming up, everybody.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching Channel 2 News, the Northwest News leader. Tomorrow morning, join Dan Christopher and Janice Weibel for Channel 2 News This Morning.
February 26, 1996.
It's only happened once before in 2 centuries. An Episcopal bishop on trial. The charge, heresy.
A bishop takes a solemn vow to conform to the doctrine, discipline, and worship of this church. He did not do so.
His alleged crime, ordaining an openly gay man.
The body of Christ, the bread of heaven.
I didn't choose to ordain Barry because he was gay. I chose to ordain Barry because he was well qualified.
Tonight, God, gays, and heretics.
This is ABC News Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
Our guest tonight must have a great deal on his mind. Tomorrow, he goes on trial for heresy. Heresy trials are not, of course, what they used to be. Not in terms of the methodology for gathering evidence, and certainly not insofar as the consequences are concerned should the accused be found guilty. Even so, there has only been one other such trial in the more than 200-year-old history of the American Episcopal Church, and a panel of 9 Episcopal bishops has been assembled in Wilmington, Delaware, to sit in judgment on their retired colleague, Bishop Walter Reiter. What Bishop Reiter did is, it turns out, not even unprecedented. Several other bishops have apparently done it. Bishop Reiter ordained a gay man as a church deacon. Even that, in and of itself, is not contrary to church doctrine. Homosexuality does not disqualify a man or a woman from becoming priests in the Episcopal Church, as long as they remain celibate. The man ordained by Bishop Reiter was openly living with another man, and Bishop Reiter knew it. A significant faction within the church decided that they had to draw a line, and they chose Bishop Reiter to provide the object lesson. Chris Bury has our report.
In Wilmington, Delaware, at the Cathedral Church of St. John, the stage is set for tomorrow's trial of an Episcopal bishop who stands accused of heresy. That formal charge, defying a church doctrine, is the most serious breach of the Christian faith.
The blood of Christ, the cup of salvation.
The accused heretic is Bishop Walter Reiter, who has had a distinguished career in the Episcopal ministry. Now 72 years old, Reiter has retired to New Hampshire, where he still conducts occasional services. Reiter's accusers say his heresy in 1990 was to ordain an openly gay man as a deacon in the Episcopal Church.
I've been a priest and a bishop since 1951. That's 45 years. To have my retirement be invaded by this is absurd. To have this kind of case develop as a way of trying to settle where the church is on sexuality is absurd.
It does sound very medieval, and as though if you find someone guilty of heresy, you're going to dip them in oil or something. It is, and it's only happened once before in the whole 200-plus years of the Episcopal Church in this country.
James Solheim is a spokesman for the national headquarters of the Episcopal Church.
It comes about because we are having so much trouble, like other mainline churches, settling the issue of homosexuals in the priesthood or the ministry. And the frustration built to such a point that a conservative group of 10 bishops decided to file legal charges against a bishop who ordained a non-celibate man.
It's a search for order.
Bishop James Stanton of Dallas, who is leading the accusers, believes the church has strayed too far from its traditional teaching against homosexuals in the clergy.
Every time this issue has come up in the Episcopal Church, the church has voted in one way or another to affirm the traditional Christian teaching. How is that possible on one hand and stand by and watch bishops violate what seems to be the clear understanding of the church on the other?
In recent years, the Episcopal Church, like the American military, has struggled with its own cumbersome policy toward homosexuals. Yes, gay men and women may be ordained as clergy, but no, they may not engage in any homosexual behavior. That compromise was born in a carefully worded resolution adopted by a majority of the bishops in 1979.
We believe it is not appropriate for this church to ordain a practicing homosexual or any person who is engaged in heterosexual relations outside of marriage.
Quite frankly, was that aimed at heterosexuals who might be having extramarital sex, or was it aimed at practicing homosexuals?
In practical terms, it was aimed at the ordination of homosexuals.
The heresy trial of Bishop Ryder hinges, above all, on whether that resolution, which did face significant opposition, carries the full weight of church doctrine.
By ordaining an actively practicing homosexual, aren't you violating this principle?
That was a statement of a resolution, not a statement of principle. There was no intent to establish long-lasting doctrine with that resolution. And I didn't think I was violating anything when I did that.
We're watching a 2,000-year tradition being challenged by relatively a small group of people who believe they're in possession of new truth, and they want to press that agenda on the rest of the church.
I believe that the history of the church is pretty clear on that subject.
Theologian Robert Pritchard, who has written a history of the Episcopal Church, believes Christian teaching plainly sets boundaries on acceptable sexual behavior.
That is to say, there are two styles of life for Christian people: faithful, exclusive, monogamous marriage, or celibacy.
No other question has so torn the 2.5 million member Episcopal Church since its decision 20 years ago to ordain women. In this Dallas parish, the fault line appears to be the church requirement that all priests set what the Episcopal Book of Common Prayer calls a wholesome example.
Have no problem whatsoever with an individual living their life the way they choose to live their life, either openly or privately. It's just that in a leadership role in the church, I don't accept people living lifestyles which are not good examples for my children.
There are Episcopalians who really agree that the ordination of gays is against church doctrine, but we're taught as Christians not to judge other people. And I think that that is really tearing at people.
We need to take a stance that forces us to draw the lines in the church between what is politically correct socially and what the church should be taking as a Christian tenet of the faith.
The accusers in the heresy trial believe they are drawing that line, defending the faith.
When a bishop is ordained, the bishop is ordained to guard the faith, unity, and discipline of the church. Not to have done something in this matter would have been, we think, irresponsible in reference to our call, our vocation.
Is this a pivotal moment for the Episcopal Church?
I hope not. It may be. It may be.
When we come back, the case for the defense. Part 2 of Chris Bury's report in a moment.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Volvo.
After years of building cages, we're about to let the animal out. Introducing the 850R from Volvo.
This is LA! We have tons of friends. This is Posh. This is my wife. This is my neighbor. This is my son-in-law. This is my very good neighbor. This is my number 2 daughter. Hi! This is my neighbor, John. When I found out that I needed surgery, it was kind of a shock.
Luckily, it turned out.
Aflac really helped protect our savings. Just really took the worry away.
Aflac covers the unexpected cost of getting better so you can get on with life.
Don is definitely not a dancer.
Homosexuality in churches, more on the controversy. The Republican Revolution goes south, and more on World News Tonight with Peter Jennings this week.
One day it came to us. You can keep pollution out of the environment by keeping pollution out of the environment. But a bigger idea is not to cause pollution in the first place. And 35,000 scientists and engineers are on the case. We want a cleaner, safer world more than anyone. Almost anyone. The members and partners of the Chemical Manufacturers Association, working for change.
You grow a business with smarts and determination. Some good-looking business cards and promotional pieces can help. Since 1968, LaserQuick has been helping businesses grow by printing and copying promotional flyers, brochures, manuals, proposals, and just about anything else a business needs. With competitive prices, helpful service, and convenient locations. Given the right printer, anything's possible. LaserQuick.
Where's it from?
This note was with it, and Worcester, Mass.
One person's heretic is another's hero. Bishop Ryder and his wife Nancy have received hundreds of letters condemning the charge of heresy against him.
The canons of the church give those fellows the right to bring charges. They give me the right to defend myself. And if they thought they had a retired old fellow up in New Hampshire who wasn't going to fight, I am retired and I'm 72, but I'm going to fight.
That's a girl.
At the center of the fight is Barry Stopful, the man Bishop Ryder ordained as a deacon 6 years ago. Stopful is now the parish priest at St. George's Church in Maplewood, New Jersey.
He had been screened by a psychiatrist, a doctor, a parish vestry, a diocesan commission on ministry, a diocesan standing committee, a bishop, a seminary for 3 years. I didn't choose to ordain Barry because he was gay. I chose to ordain Barry because he was well qualified.
Barry Stopful and his partner live openly as a gay couple in the church rectory. Stopful believes the Episcopal policy asking homosexuals to live a celibate life is a denial of their basic humanity.
I think it's very hard to be a deeply committed Christian and remain in the closet. Because I believe that part of the Christian proclamation is that each of us should be fully who God forms us to be. I believe God formed me to be a gay man.
And so on the day that he was installed as a minister, and there were just people that came and embraced me and brought me into the circle of his installation service, and that I was welcomed as a member of the family. Deeply and sincerely welcome into people's homes, in their lives.
The body of Christ, the bread of heaven.
St. George's is a picture of diversity, an affluent suburban New Jersey parish that attracts a number of gay worshipers. But there is no apparent concern here, even from married couples with children, about the ability of a gay priest to set a wholesome example.
Some people might say that a gay priest cannot be a good role model for children, and I would say that anybody who believes that should meet Barry, and they'll understand that he's a real man, and that he's a person of tremendous integrity, who is a wonderful role model for everybody.
There were people who had some concerns about it, how it would be received in the larger community, but
once they knew Barry and Will, most of those concerns just faded away.
In the Episcopal House of Bishops, where church policy is debated, tolerance for homosexuality has steadily grown in recent years.
I think it's important to say and to recognize that there are a lot of us who believe that persons may be in same-gender relationships and that can be moral.
Some of us are gay, some of us are lesbian, and our way of being intimate is with a person, another man, another woman. This has to be something that's addressed.
2 years ago, more than 70 of the nearly 300 bishops signed a defiant statement proclaiming the right of individual bishops, not the church, to have the final say in who is ordained. Its author is Bishop John Spong of Newark, who has himself been censured for ordaining homosexuals.
I have 15 priests in this diocese who are serving churches who are fully out of the closet. Many of them live with their partners. The people in those congregations know that they are a gay couple or a lesbian couple. They are some of the most outstanding clergy I've got.
Even church officials at national headquarters have little enthusiasm for a heresy trial in a faith that takes pride in its ambiguity.
Well, it's a contradiction of our style. This is a church that does not demand heavy allegiance to creeds. It's not a church heavy on rules. The elasticity of the Episcopal Church is a wondrous thing. And the heresy trial is therefore a contradiction.
For Bishop Reiter, the consequences of a heresy trial are more symbolic than punitive. Even if the court of 9 bishops convicts him of heresy, Bishop Reiter may only be admonished or stripped of his title. He won't be burned at the stake, and even his pension is safe.
Is this trial going to resolve the issue of homosexuals in the church?
You can't resolve this kind of issue with a trial. That's ridiculous to even think you can. Even if I'm convicted, that's one thing, they can take away this bishop stuff, but they can't take away my baptism in the kingdom of God.
Some voices in the church pray that the heresy trial will end the confusion about gays in the clergy. But many others are just as convinced the issue is much too charged and complex for a trial alone to produce any simple truths, no matter what the outcome. This is Chris Bury for Nightline in Washington.
When we come back, we'll be joined by the man accused of heresy, Bishop Walter Reiter.
There's great news for really dry skin.
I've discovered an amazing new moisturizer, Jergens Shower Active. I use it in the shower after I wash, and then I rinse. It seals in the moisture from the shower. It protects my skin all day.
New Jergens Shower Active Moisturizer.
It is where the lofty atmosphere of most luxury cars is left behind. It is the American-built flagship of Toyota, Avalon. Combining refined performance, comfort, and Toyota's unparalleled reputation for quality, Avalon delivers the greatest luxury of all, peace of mind. Avalon, experience the tranquility.
Hormel chili, sure, that's my favorite. We eat a lot of turkey chili, too. With low-fat sour cream. Low-fat cheese. Or sour cream. Cheese. Sour cheese.
Nothing beats a bowl of Hormel chili, no matter which Hormel chili it is.
Next time, wake up in Key West for deep-sea fishing and underwater fun.
Sail away to the beautiful Florida Keys on the next Good Morning America.
How can this be Car of the Year? You can't get up and walk around in a car. Cars don't have seats on rollers. Or so many seats, period. Or so much space for so many things. And they certainly don't offer sliding doors on both sides. Well then, it would appear that for the first time ever, the Motor Trend Car of the Year is more than a car. It's a caravan from the new Dodge.
I didn't realize there was that many people out there that were willing to help. Yeah, it was about 6 in the morning when K2 was here, putting out a plea to try to get some pumps if anybody in the area had pumps. It was 10 minutes or less, and we had one at our doorstep. The guy was watching the TV and had a pump at home and just brought it over. What you guys did at KTU was a godsend in that respect, because it let everybody know what was going on, and it gave us at least a glimmer of hope that we were going to save it. It was more than I could have ever expected.
Imperial Tombs of China. Fascinating treasures from China's most powerful ancient rulers. Beginning May 1st, the only place on the West Coast to see this special exhibit is the Portland Art Museum. It's a chance of a lifetime. Buy your tickets now.
You lived through a winter to remember. Now keep it forever with Channel 2's Wild Winter VHS tape. It's 2 hours full of the most powerful pictures. To order, send $19.95 to KTU Wild Winter Tape. All profits benefit flood relief.
Joining us now from the Wilmington, Delaware Bureau of ABC station WPVI, Walter Reiter, who was the Episcopal Bishop for Iowa for 17 years until he retired in 1989. One of my colleagues, Bishop, proposed this question to me before I came down. The more I think about it, the more appropriate I think this is. You must have given a great deal of prayerful thought to what is going to happen tomorrow morning. What are you praying for?
I think basically new wisdom in the church. We've been ordaining gay people for 2,000 years. There's nothing new about ordaining gay people. What's new about this discussion and all the heat that's generated is the question of, shall we be honest about these ordinations and honest about the fact that people are going to have intimate relationships? We can't deny people intimate relationships. 20 million people in the United States we're saying can't have intimate relationships.
Well, there are certain kinds of intimate relationships that indeed we do deny one another, both under the law and under church law. If, for example, a married priest in your church were to have an extramarital affair, that would be an intimate relationship that is denied, would it not?
Yeah, that gets, it kind of muddies the waters because we don't permit gay people to have a ceremony blessing their relationship. And I think that's one of the issues before us. Will we provide any kind of opportunity for gay people who, some of whom I've known have lived 25 and 35 years together, will we provide an opportunity for the church to have some kind of ceremony blessing that relationship?
Well, indeed, you have led me precisely where I was going, and that is I was going to ask you whether indeed you would favor that, and it seems to me you are.
I think my own personal opinion is we really need to do something about that, but the General Convention is already wrestling with it, and I have hope that the church will deal with it the way it does with other things, very thoroughly and with some ambiguity, but with some kindness and love.
This heresy trial, why now, why you?
I think why me is a question I've puzzled over myself a lot. I think I'm a substitute for Jack Spong, and I'm not sure exactly why that's so. The reasons that my presenters have given for having the presentment vary according to the presenter. So there's not a very clear thing about that.
Well, it's been suggested to me that one of the reasons they're coming after you is because A, you've retired, B, the statute of limitations in your case might soon be expiring, and C, which might be the most important of all, they thought you were the weakest link among all the bishops. That is, that you did not have a very strong diocese behind you.
I think all three of those probably are true, but it's not true that the statute of limitations expired on me before it expired on anybody else. It expired on the Bishop of Washington before it expired on me, and I think the retired thing and the desire to get at Jack Spong are both factors in the whole thing. And fortunately for me, the Diocese of Newark is making its resources, its chancellor, available to me.
This is not going to be a cheap procedure, is it?
That's right. According to the Secretary of the General Convention, it will cost about $400,000 for the prosecution side. My side can cost anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000.
And where did you get the money?
The Reiter Defense Fund has been started by the Diocese of Newark, And people from all over the world have sent gifts. I've had letters from Moscow, Russia, from Desmond Tutu from South Africa sent a contribution.
I began by asking you what you're praying for, that you hope will come out of all of this. What do you think those who have brought these charges against you hope to achieve by this? What have you heard that they hope to achieve?
I think there are all kinds of, each one of those persons has a different reason. But we're electing a presiding bishop in 1997, and I think they would like to have more leverage than they think they have. I think there's some alienation from the mainstream of the church that maybe they hope they can get back into the mainstream with this method. I'm not sure.
You don't strike me as someone who gets nervous easily. You certainly don't give evidence of it, but are you a little bit scared? I mean, to have devoted your life to the church and to now be confronting a heresy trial tomorrow morning must give you pause at the very least.
It does. I will not suppress my outrage. It's not so much anger, it's outrage for not just me, but for 20 million people in the United States who are put on the spot. We're being scapegoated as a gay, lesbian community. At the same time, my wife and I are very grateful, and we feel buoyed up by the prayers and concern of people all over the world. And we feel a sense of privilege for being right on the fault line between the past and the future. The fault line is where we have to live, all of us. And it's more fun to be there where you take the risk than it is to try and drag people back into the past for safety's sake.
Not exactly what you thought of when you retired, is it?
No, it isn't. But that's all right. You never know what's coming around the corner each day.
What happens tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning we will begin the day with a service of Holy Communion, and then the attorneys for both sides will deliver a paper that they've been asked to deliver by the court, saying what the sources of doctrine are for the Episcopal Church as they see it.
And how long do you anticipate the whole trial will last?
Well, tomorrow morning will determine something like that. I think tomorrow we will recess for the court to think about what they've heard. Whether we will get any kind of definitive decision after a day or so goes by, I just don't know.
You expressed outrage a moment ago. Are you a little bit nervous, though?
No, not so much. I'm a little tired of all this stuff, and I'll be glad to have it pass. But nervousness is not, it's not so much in my makeup. I was probably more nervous when I took a driver's test up in New Hampshire than I am now.
Bishop Reiter, it's a pleasure talking to you, and you have an interesting day ahead of you tomorrow. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you for including me.
I'll be back in a moment.
You could play in the rain. You could frolic in the snow. And when the sun shines, you could peel off the rest of your inhibitions. The Saab 900 convertible. Lease a 96 Saab 900S convertible for $349 a month.
Subtle traces of crimson on your toothbrush and in your sink. Bleeding gums. If you've ever suffered this unpleasant experience, beware. You may be one of over 80 million people afflicted with the gum disease gingivitis. Gum disease is caused by germs. Listerine kills them. It's the only brand clinically proven to help prevent the gum disease gingivitis. Don't say your gums didn't warn you. Listerine, the power of prevention.
There are a lot of women out there that become pregnant each year. While I was pregnant, I could feel that the lap and shoulder belt were properly positioned, but I didn't know if that would protect the baby in a car crash. GM is working on the development of the pregnant dummy. This dummy's going to be a mom. I think we need a better understanding, and the best way is to develop a prototype and test it. I think that pregnancy is a very happy time in people's lives. It's my goal as a mother to protect them.
Sammy Martin of Portland relies on Channel 2 Storm Team coverage.
We turn the TV on as some people would turn on the radio for background. I always turn on Channel 2 News. As a business, we learned where we could not go and should not go in terms of our guys' safety. You were everywhere at all times and showed us what we needed to see. I think it really showed us things.